What's going on, fam? Welcome to another DU mock draft review. I hopped into this mock draft at the 112 spot because I do have a real draft coming up this weekend from the 112, and I wanted to test out some strategies. While going through this mock draft, I did notice a couple things, maybe some changes I wanted to make. So I wanted to hop on here real quick and talk about mostly the top of the draft. So let's hop right into it and let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so first thing I wanted to point out here was that Anthony Richardson is no longer available at the turn. Now, this could just be my buddy Jake trying to get under my skin, but I have seen it in a couple mock drafts, so I think it's real. And that's tough because that is what I wanted to do here. And what I want to do at the back end of some of these drafts, some earlier drafts in the offseason, I was able to get that done. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that in this next one, but I still have hope. That said, I'm also surprised that Justin Herbert is going ahead of Kyler Murray, just with the rushing upside and the fact that John Harbaugh and Greg Roman duo is there. It just seems like Justin Herbert's value is slowly deteriorating and his ability to score fantasy points is going with it. So I'm kind of surprised that he's not really just like falling to that range or that, CeeDee Lamb isn't going ahead of him, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I was happy to have my pick of CeeDee Lamb or Amon-Ra, whichever one fell to me at 112. And then, like I'm just talking about, I'm going Kyler Murray, hoping that he gets right and hoping that I'm acquiring that top 5 type upside that he does possess. We've seen it from him before. The next thing I want to mention here is I probably would have done something different at my next pick at the 312. I went to a Tagovailoa, but even right after I selected it, and this isn't a slow draft, this was a fast draft, which obviously changes things. I'd have much more time to collect myself and think about things. But if I were doing this again, I don't think I would have gone to. I think I would have tried to push the quarterback to maybe that Kirk Cousins range, maybe Matthew Stafford, whatever. Try to swing something else. Those weren't going to fall to me, but Kirk Cousins definitely I could have pulled off there if I'd done some things differently, and I think I would have. I think I would have gone maybe a JT, or I think it would have been the 106. We have kickers in this draft, so I'm not super comfortable with that Tua pick. I don't think you need to go quarterback 2 in this range. I think you can do something different, and I'm glad I was in this mock to kind of test that out in a Superflex mock. The next thing I want to mention is some of these elite tight ends are going just way too late. Looking at guys like Mark Andrews at 5.08, TJ Hawkinson at 5.12. And look, I can understand Hawkinson a little bit more given the QB situation, but Andrews, what's going on there? I can't understand it. He's steadily falling this entire offseason, and I can't quite wrap my head around it. Let's look at ADP real quick and just digest that compared to this rookie draft. Looking at Dynasty Lab ADP here, and on average, they're going a little bit earlier than they did in this mock. So that's probably why I was a little bit more surprised where they were falling, but really just surprised that these tight ends are falling down here to the 53rd and 54th rank past Dalton Kincaid, which is just super surprising to me. And I guess we haven't seen the shift with Kyle Pitts yet. Maybe that's what it is with the Kirk Cousins signing, but I really think that all 3 of those guys should be well over Dalton Kincaid and probably in tight end premium have more value than some of the receivers that are going ahead of them. I think I have a problem because I can't stop drafting Jackson Smith and Jigba, but at the 601, it does feel like pretty good value. I'm going to need to tell myself that I have too many shares and I need to go a different direction here. Like I said, I probably could have gone Kirk Cousins and felt much better about it if I didn't go to a Tagovailoa and gone a whole different direction there. Probably would have been more happy if I went JT, gone hero running back instead of maybe going an Isaiah Pacheco a little bit later. I do think Mike Evans is good value at 712, and I think overall you can find pretty good value later in the draft at wide receiver. Looking at guys like Calvin Ridley and Josh Downs, I was really happy to get them at the 912 and the 1001. And it looks like the Austin Eckler signing has pushed Brian Robinson down. And while I'm not a believer, if you want to do those hero zero running back builds, he's definitely a candidate for that running back 2 type spot. I think I'm going to stop here because really my intent was to go over those first couple picks, the really top of the draft, and talk about, where I think I made some mistakes or where I would have made some changes if I were to do this again, especially heading into a real draft this week. And I think this gave me some real insight. So hope everybody enjoyed this quick mock draft review. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more. Later.